Hello, my name is Sharanta. I'm going to review today the Canon FS20 camcorder, digital camcorder. It's a very nice camcorder for your work. Even if you're a professional, this will be a real bridge between user friendliness and complicated controls. This is a very small, lightweight camcorder, very durable design, and I got it down from eBay for $150. It's very cheap. This is not a brand new, but this is a manufacturer refurbished that is directly from Canon. It's a very nice camcorder. I'm going to tell you why. Here are the basic features of this. It has a flip screen which you can turn all the way any way you want. It has a AV out, it has a mic input, it has several buttons located here. The screen is not a touch screen, but it has something like touch like buttons located just below its screen. You can see here it's got a focal 2.0 focal aperture value is 2.0, 1 in 2.0, 2.6 to 96.2 millimeter Canon video lens, and it has basically a huge battery life of 230 minutes per charge, and that charge is going to be around 1.5 to 2 hours, and that's going to give you 230 minutes of recording time continuous. That is, this is not actually, the value is not about the recording, the value is about the camera being turned on. The recording value is more or less the same. It just doesn't change even if you're not recording. The camera battery depreciation is in the same value, so it's not going to make any difference. If you, the only thing you can do is to keep the camera off when you're not recording. There are several features of this. As I said, this is basically a professional video camera because it's got a lot of features you don't find in other manufacturers. Now let me explain to you why I'm saying that. Sony, Nikon and all the other manufacturers of cameras and video equipment, they have a very royalty based softwares which they want to limit the user's abilities through the software they get. The hardware piece of what they provide, the Sony, Nikon, they give good hardware, but the software part of that is very limited. That is, the limitation of the software is basically based on the price of the product. So it's not about if your camera can do it, it's about how much you paid for the camera and whether you will do it or whether it will do it or not based on that price. Now Canon on that area is very generous. They charge you for the product and not the software. You get a full featured software. The software will allow, if that software is going to, if the hardware is going to allow you to zoom more, the software is going to utilize that method definitely. Now Nikon would not do that, Sony will not do that. They are not concerned of the user because of their bigger brand names. Canon is a good competitor in the market. So this is the FS20. Canon FS20 is a good example of their competitiveness, and to this date I have seen reviews. Something like this with all these features is going to cost you more than $800 to or maybe more than $1,000 with the features you get on this FS20. So you can just imagine how much this technology has become a business. So it's a business, but it's more than a business. People, when you go to buy something, you must not have a brand name and less of a product. Okay, here we have a basic feature set on this camera. On basically, if you view it on, like switch it on, you get basic feature set. I get LCD screen has been dimmed. Okay, so I have dimmed the screen to double. It's basically a double dimming, where the camera will only use half of 50% of the light it should, the power it should for the display. So it's very dim display, but you can see it, you can use it, you have no problems, because this is a tiltable screen. You have no problems in the sun. So this is going to reduce a lot of battery. As I said, 230 minutes of recording capacity. Okay, now we are going to look at why I am going to say it. Because firstly, this is a camcorder with mic input. Why is a camcorder with mic input important? Because basically, if you're going to cover a stage area or a conference or something of that nature, you can utilize a wireless mic and plug it in here. Or if you're covering a stage event, you can take the direct output of the stage stereo output and plug it into your camcorder, and you have an undistorted audio path because of the mic input. Now most camcorders don't have that. It's because it's considered an extra option. The softwares embedded for this is basically, it has a screen where you can select. There's a joystick. Now there is skepticism about joysticks on devices in the modern day, because they say the joysticks become defective and things like that. But my experiences with these type of joysticks on mobile phones are not that much better. So it depends. You must not be harassing the equipment, but I normally harass a lot of equipment, but that doesn't break it. So I believe it's made to last. It has program auto, shutter value recording, and scene modes that basically that have predefined white balance, shutter speed, aperture values inside, so that it will compensate for those measurements. Then we have white balance preferences, where you have 3 options, and most importantly a custom white balance, where you can focus this camera onto a white surface and get the proper white balance value of that area. So it is a very important option which you don't find in these Chinese and all these cameras. Nikon of course has, and so Nikon is not actually that much concerned, but I believe Sony and them can do much better. The menu systems are very easily accessible. I have a friend with a Sony camcorder. It has so many menu options that you can't find where you want to go, and when you want to go, you have to have the manual with you to know what you want to do. That is not what a camcorder is. You can't be carrying a book with you to know the menus of the system. And so this is very easy. You get on the main screen, when you press the function button here, this is the function button, this is joystick. Extra stop buttons are here. Stop button is there, playlist, and play mode, video mode, live mode. That is basically you can go from file access to file recording or photo taking. Those are quick buttons. So we have color scheme, that is, we can say vivid, off, natural, or soft skin detail. Now I prefer using soft skin detail. And we have digital effects, very useful. You can enable them while recording and disable them while recording. You can give fading effects, etc. Now this is what I said, this is a very professional equipment and professional features. If you ask me, it has the fade effects, wipe effects, black and white effects, sepia effects, art effects, mosaic effects. All these things are there in the camcorder, and you can enable, disable them while recording. You have three options for quality. One is XP, SP, and LP. XP uses 9 Mbps recordings, that is almost HD bitrate, but resolution is a bit. This is standard definition camera. LP is 3 Mbps, SP is 6 Mbps, so 3, 6, 9. The bitrate changes. Then we have the main menu selection, that allows you to go into further more options. You have self time on off, zoom type. The camera has two types of zooms: advanced zoom and optical zoom, and digital zoom. To digital zoom you can go up to 2000x, advanced zoom 48x, and optical zoom 37x. So basically the lens only provides 37x, and 48x is stretched using the digital processor, and it's processed image up to 48 after 37. Okay, we have then the option, another section called memory operation. We have memory info, card info, media, movies, media, photos, and initialize. Now this is one of the only camcorders with 8 GB internal memory, not hard disk memory, SD memory. So it's very reliable, but you can't say it's more reliable. But all file systems and electronic, these things have certain issues. Now if you take a pen drive, you can, if you unplug it or pull it out at the wrong time while it's not ejected, you can have data loss. Things like that are warned by Canon. There's display setup, brightness of the display. This is of course brightness of the pixel value, the color given to the display. It's not the brightness of the LED of the backlight of the display. It's about the brightness of the image provided to the display. We have the LCD dimmer to improve battery life. Or the audio level, we can display the audio level of the current area, like we can imagine, okay, if it is too loud or too soft. We have the option to enable, disable TV output, markers, and language setup. We have battery info, beep on off, power save mode, quick start on off. We have AV, phones AV, like all these things you can turn on, turn off. Basically even the phones, the AV output can be used as my earphone output, and so it allows you to switch that. The phone's volume can also be defined. That's, as I said, Canon does a very good job with the software. We have time zone setup, date format, and we have the close option. So a lot of features on this camera. So basically we have we can have the movie media on a card and the photos on the internal memory, or vice versa. So it depends. You can select those options from here in the main menu. So those options are there. While recording, you get a small screen here. In this camera you have this small option here. It comes here. This allows you to basically make dynamic changes while you are recording. For example, we have active, this is basically a delighting or background lighting, backlighting effect, where if you're recording in a sunny environment and your subject is, you're against the sun and you want to get the face of the subject, so this comes in handy. It improves the brightness and contrast of the image to the object in front, so it is correct, the exposure is correct. We can turn that on off, and you can switch over from the joystick. You can have that is called backlight correction. then exposure, automatic exposure, or you can give manual exposure. As I said, very good options. We have focus control, manual focus controls. We have pre-record function. Now this camera has a pre-record function which allows you to have 3 seconds before you press the record button. Now that is only relevant for 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes the camera will disable itself, that option, as it uses a lot of resources. But basically it allows you to catch those impossible moments where you can't just imagine when it's starting. For example, your baby smiling, so when it comes to those things you can have that pre-record function. As I said, this is a very professionally designed camera. Okay, so we have that option, and we have video light on off. This is actually this video light has really a fill effect, but it's not cannot say it's 100%. Its low light performance is very good. It's got 2.0 aperture, so it's not going to make a big fuss in low light, but there are certain circumstances. But focusing is very good. Do its contrast detect focusing. It's you can't say it's bad during low light. It's not bad at all. So this has video snap options, display info setup, that allows you to change the display details. Basically you have a self opening closing door, lens door. This is very smart and wise decision by Canon. So it's very nice because it's motorized. Most cameras today you have get this manual thing where you have to pull the thing from here or somewhere. It keeps saying all the lens cover is closed and things like that. So this is slide in, slide out. From it slides in from the bottom and slides to the bottom. It's very it gives a good feeling. When the camera is going for video mode, it comes out. You can see that. Now this is I'm on, switched on, and it switches off. It's really a less of a hassle, because if for a busy person or a person running around or having a lot of work, sometimes people do forget to close this and you get your finger in there and things like that. So basically the automatic mechanical shutter closure is very useful, and it closes when you're viewing files. So basically you have no use of the lens when you're viewing files, you're not recording, and it automatically opens up when you're recording. That's one of the useful features. It's got 3 modes: dual shoot, video, and photography. The photography lens quality is good, but you can't compare it to a DSLR or bridge type. What I'm using to record is a P7000. You can't compare it to that, but it gives a lot of things. And one more thing, this has a great image stabilization system. Canon is the best in the field. It gives you it's an electronic image stabilizer, but it's perfect. You can't say it's upset, or you can't challenge this. It's better than Nikon. It's better than my P7000's image stabilization, though this is an electrical system. It's not optical lens shift or nothing like that. It's very simple electronic software based. As I said, Canon is good at software. The dedicated photo button is here, though you cannot take photographs when you're recording videos. That's one down part. There's a dual shoot mode, but actually I don't see a point of it. Maybe if it allowed to take photos while recording, it would have made a difference, but that does not work. This dual shoot mode also has very limited functionality. You can't change a thing, but it uses the settings given on the video mode. So if you want to change the setting, you have to go to the video mode back and change the settings and go back to the dual shoot mode. But that only allows you, because normally while in video mode you can't shoot photos, and while in photo mode you can't shoot videos, but in dual mode you can do both, but not at the same time. That's the drawback. Okay, my 16 GB memory card gives, I have used the SDHC memory card. It gives me around close to 4 hours of recording on it at XP mode. Now that's going to almost double in 6 Mbps SP mode. This is XP, SP and LP. The battery compartment is here, very solid construction. You just pop it out and you have the memory card here. It's got a big battery, BP808 I believe. Yeah, BP808, big battery, very but big as in compared to this camcorder. It's a big battery. It has a good spring. Careful, because when you're pulling it out, it just jumps out sometimes. But you have the memory card here. You press it normal memory card ejection system you find everywhere. 16 TB SDHC. Canon recommends class 2 or better. I have class 4. A drawback of this is basically when you are connecting the camcorder to your PC, you have to have the power pack connected to the camcorder. It's very inconvenient, but Canon is also a very bit overreactive about this internal memory issue, where they say don't switch off the camera, don't lose power because it's going to get corrupted, and I see the reason for their concern. But maybe in the design they have put the main software near the user memory area, maybe something like that, so it has a risk of breaking the camcorder maybe. But I have not noticed that. I have lost power to the camcorder on purpose, and that nothing has happened. I lost some video files did not play, so I just reinitialized the internal memory, and I can keep recording again. So it has pitch bridge support, where you can connect this directly to the printer and print out the photographs. Another feature is you can connect a DVD writer. I'm not sure which type, but I believe Canon has a specific one for this, but I believe normal DVD writers will also do. I think you just need to have a cable modification maybe, where it will I'm not sure, don't risk that, where you can connect that to the USB port and you can directly produce the DVD disc of the memory inside. So it allows you editing functionalities somewhat. So maybe you can compose the DVD by the camcorder itself without using the PC. It has given that option. This is NTSC. Now this is FS20 NTSC DC 7.4V. It says made in Japan. Now not many things today are made in Japan, so I don't know, in time where Chinese things also break, I don't know, Japan is supposed to be more reliable. 20 years back, Japan was the manufacturer of the most reliable electronic equipment. So I believe this made in Japan carries weight, because even the SB900 today you find is made in Japan. So there are things like that. This is UL certified, UL listed, FC and W. I don't know what that is. The body is very compact, it's very nice, feels, and mainly because the camcorder is very small, you're very stabilized with it. You're not grabbing over the camcorder, or you're not putting your hand on pushing the camcorder or things like that. It's very handy. You can have it in one hand very steadily. You can control everything without going to reach for where's the button like that. Nothing like that. All very stable, so you get a better video output from this. Another drawback of the Canon FS20 is that the screen can noticeably get scratched. Okay, so it's not noticeable when it's on, but you can see I have scratched the screen. So that's really, I did not expect that. I have no idea how it got scratched. Maybe I gave it to my friends and they wanted to tap the thing, so maybe their nails got it scratched. So these days some camcorders come with touch screen, so that might be the reason. So it's very rugged, but actually you can't find better solution than this. If you're looking like me for all the options, manual focusing, exposure, shutter speed and things like that, you can't find a better solution than this, the FS20. Most camcorders nowadays come with very limited optical zoom. I don't know why. And being an old, I think this was released in 2010, but it's really gives you a better quality image than, I don't know, feature set. And what can you expect more? You have the mic input where everyone talks of, and you get the editing functions, the controlling functions of a normal professional level camcorder. You get you get to produce DVD on the camcorder. You get a big battery, you get heck of a big battery life, and then you have up to 32 GB SDHC capacity. This is standard definition, not HD, but what more can you expect? People today use HD, but editing SD takes a lot of time unless you have Core i7. So editing HD is going to take somewhat more time. So I believe it's HD, SD has no issue here. It's the quality of the product and the ability to do what you want to do, that is all that matters. So those things provided, Canon has done a great job with the FS20 Canon 8GB advanced zoom 48x camcorder. Thank you.